Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin Sunday morning update. As you can tell, my throat is still a bit funny. But yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. So yeah, Bitcoin on the 4-hour, as you can see, we've had a nice move up after all this this bearish price action. Bitcoin pretty much did its good old Bart Simpson move. It made you think it was going to break down. It looked bearish. The charts got painted bearish. The evil market manipulator whales were clearly accumulating around this $40,000 mark, and now we've had a pretty nice markup. Obviously running into the pretty much midpoint of our range, which we've got drawn in here, this previous area price action as well. But yeah, in the midpoint of the range, so we broke nicely up here. Potential, obviously it's a potential bull flag, which would give us a pretty nice extension to the upside. But I would be a bit cognizant of the fact that we may just end up painting that inverted head and shoulders trade around here for a little bit into the open of CME futures this evening, and obviously the cash markets for traditional markets. That is obviously not crypto, but yeah, the cash markets on Monday. But yeah, then ultimately, will we get that break above 48 and a half, and yeah, trigger a move to the upside of the range, and then see if we can break up? We shall have to see. But obviously things are looking a lot more interesting here, to say the least. If we go and have a look at our favorite barometer for risk in this market, the Ethereum Satoshi pairing, it has been supported on this level, and it is making a move to the upside. It's got this important horizontal. Once you get back above here, well, I say once we get back above, we're up there now, but once we start trading in this area, it will start to look good for just a grind to the upside. Take out this resistance area, take out these highs, and continue to our higher targets. If we do also look at it in the USD pairing as well, you can see we got right up to this resistance here. So obviously breaking above here should give a nice acceleration. Well, I say an acceleration, we've already accelerated pretty nicely up, but an acceleration in this Ethereum price, and yeah, that could obviously help it outperform Bitcoin and the Ethereum Satoshi pairing to go up. If you want to look at Bitcoin dominance as well, you can see that is we'll just extend our shaded area along. That is trying to make a move back into our old resistance, new support, and then attempt to break it down, and then continue lower. Obviously this is all depending on Bitcoin still staying bullish. Still staying bullish basically, and not actually just barting its way back down. That's not usually how it works. We do get these bar patterns, but we don't exactly bar down, bar up, and bar down again. But yeah, obviously providing we do stay strong in the Bitcoin price, then we kind of expect this to break down, break this level, and then find our way at some point into the end of the year, into Q4, into this support area, where we may end up finding our sort of blow off top for altcoins with a potential 100k plus Bitcoin price. Stock markets, we'll have a quick look at stock markets. As you can see, they are back. They basically tested properly again this horizontal, bounced off it currently all the way into the next level. So realistically, we've got to wait and see if we can open here. The markets were getting a bit spooked by Bloodbath and Beyond, or Bed Bath and Beyond, whatever you want to call them, but Bloodbath and Beyond, they're known as the moment. They're getting pretty trolleyed, but I think people look into that company and what it's been saying about the wider macro market a bit too closely, because it's never particularly been that great a company, and to use that as a barometer to dump everything in the market is maybe not the most prudent thing to do. Also what we have going on in markets, we have the Fed chief in play. The Fed chair, Jerome Powell, is in play, as in he may not get renominated. He was almost a certainty up until like a week or so ago, but now Lyle Brainerd, I think it's Lyle Brainerd, however you say it, who is the Fed governor as well. She's a Democrat as well. Obviously Jerome Powell's a Republican, but yeah, she's a Democrat. And what is happening is with this debt ceiling thing, Democrats are infighting because they have basically their progressive wing of the squad and a few others in there that basically just want the Fed to address all sorts of things. I mean, it's a bit wild that the Fed has an employment mandate, but there's reasons for it, and the reasons are a bit flaky because they can't really measure a lot of stats they look at properly. So employment is one they can kind of measure and manipulate, so they kind of like default to using that. But they for the Democrats and the progressive Democrats want the Fed to actually address climate change, racial inequality. I mean, they don't seem to mention just general like wealth inequality, because that is literally what the Fed is solely responsible for ruining for everybody. But yeah, they want to address all sorts of things. So if there's obviously an increased chance that we get a new Fed chief to basically do a deal with the progressive Democrats to increase increase the debt ceiling, because obviously these progressive Democrats just want loads more spending as well, which the more mainstream Democrats don't particularly want. So they are infighting over that. So they may have to do a deal with a Fed chief who will basically just be more well, if they can't basically get the fiscal extra spending they want, they can obviously then try and get their guy in the Fed to do it through the monetary basically through the Fed rather than through the Treasury. So yeah, that obviously, so if we take it all back, that is obviously bullish for basically risk assets, bearish for the dollar, and just a bit bearish for just all sorts of political cohesion. It will just fully well, I say politicize. The Fed's pretty political anyway, but it is basically the start of the full-on banana republic that will become the US and the US dollar if they do basically start to address things like climate change. Fed policies basically starts to have like a climate change mandate and a racial equality mandate and all that kind of funny stuff. But anyway, the main takeaway is that it is basically bearish for the dollar, and therefore you would expect potential risk assets to go up in an inflationary stroke hyperinflationary stroke ultimately banana republic type style. So yeah, the 10-year is easing off a little bit here, as you can see, and also the DXY is looking like it wants to at least attempt to put this in as a top, which I suspect will be and will come down from here. But yeah, we'll come down from here, grind our way through these levels, as obviously the wildness happens with the debt ceiling and the Fed chair, and then yeah, we'll see where we can break down and we can go into a proper next leg up, a proper J hook up in obviously stocks, in Bitcoin, in everything really. What else do you want to look at on here? Not too much else to look at. Not too much else. The Nasdaq, we do want to look at the Nasdaq actually. You can see the Nasdaq hit what was an important trend line from this ascending broadening wedge that we did break out the top of. Show that you can like ascending broadening. This is an ascending wedge, not a broadening wedge. An ascending wedge, which is potentially a bearish formation, can still break to the upside. But yeah, you can see we hit that, bounced off it quite nicely. So now potentially the Nasdaq can move onwards and upwards, and Nasdaq will move onwards and upwards, providing this 10-year is coming down as well, because it is basically is a proxy for future growth. So it does well with lower rates rather than higher rates, because obviously higher rates will just discount that future growth and cash flow, discount it, so that therefore gives it a lower present value, which is why obviously the Nasdaq is usually will go down if interest rates, and especially on like the longer ends like the 10-year go up. Let's also now finally have a look at the Bitcoin stochastics, which clearly have got to be looking good in these medium terms after this move here. What we kind of want to be looking at is just like a bullish reset whilst we kind of trade this area out a little bit. Realistically, we want to obviously be holding 56. So if we trade between 48 and 56, consolidate, and then move back up, take out the 48.5. It'll look very good. So yeah, let's have a look at the stochastic. 4 hours obviously pretty much jammed up there, just based on the size of the move that we've had. So yeah, 10 hour all the way up there, got all the way up there, dragged us up there. Now looking to turn back over. So yeah, like I said, it could give us a bit of a sideways to down. 12 hour getting a bit extended, but still got room to run. And then the higher time frames are probably going to be looking really good. Well, obviously with daily pointing up, got a lot of room to run. 2-day got all the room to run basically. 3 days not even turned up yet, so if we do hold up here and 3 days just turn up, then yeah, obviously we'll have 3-day momentum helping us. 5-day looking to turn back up after what is in inverted commas a bullish reset. So yeah, providing we do trade this area and ultimately move up, stochastics will start to look pretty good. Weekly has turned down, but like I said, we can hold up here like this similar price action here. So I wouldn't look at this as like we've got to now come down and take a massive dump. Bi-weekly moving up nicely as well, and monthly still just grinding down, doing its thing, bullishly resetting in inverted commas again. But yeah, ultimately these stochastics are looking good, have got potential to look even better. Break above here, get into this upper half of this sort of range. We could then be looking at the higher time frames. If higher time frame stochastics giving us a really good chance of breaking through this $53,000 level. And yeah, I mean, I pretty much if Q4 goes how I pretty much expect, to be honest, the only thing that really just kind of bothered me about Q4 being incredibly bullish and just continuing on with this upwards is how everyone just seems to be so like it's just everyone's view. It just seems to be everyone's view in crypto and even in the stock markets. Even they are expecting stock markets to do well into the end of year as well. But yeah, I mean, we can't necessarily look at that and be like, well, that means we're going to do the opposite, because there's still a lot of fear about, there's still a lot of uncertainty, and there's still a lot of doubt about. So yeah, we have got room to run, especially if we start to get funky things going on at the Fed. Yeah, it could start to get pretty interesting. So yeah, that is it, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We certainly got an interesting week ahead. We certainly have got an interesting week ahead, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, again, not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.